Yo guys, Bullseye Boy back here with another video. This is my WWE Off the Mic episode 16. Obviously it's Friday today, so NXT take over Dallas tonight, which is going to be insane. Can't wait for it. And obviously 2 days away now from WrestleMania, so yeah, it's going to be an incredible weekend. I mean, you know, if you've watched my previous videos, I've been really disappointed with the build-up for WrestleMania. And in general, the whole product recently, it's just been, there's been a lot of disappointments with it. But one thing that WWE usually always does guarantee is whether the build-up's terrible for the show or not, the actual matches and the show should be pretty good. And especially with what I'm going to talk about in this episode, there could be some surprises which will always make the show a lot better, because when it's surprises you don't see coming, even what might have gone on before on the show, surprises and things you don't think will happen will just grasp your attention so quickly, and you kind of forget about what you've seen and you just focus so much on what basically what just happened type thing. So yeah, it's going to be a really good show, I think. Although the build-up, like I said, has not been good at all, and the matches don't look great, they always seem to put on a good show. So I'm kind of banking on that, because otherwise, if they don't put on a good show, in my opinion, it'll be by far the worst WrestleMania I've ever seen. And it's really not the place to be doing it, considering it's the biggest WrestleMania of all time. In this episode, guys, I've got a lot of good stuff, good news. First thing I want to talk about is what I mentioned in my WrestleMania predictions video. If you haven't seen that, check it out, guys. It's really good. I mentioned during the Shane McMahon versus Undertaker match that I could see a potential surprise happening during that match, because I mentioned I'm going with Shane McMahon to win the match, but as a lot of fans probably would agree, I don't think Shane will win just by himself. I think that there would need to be some sort of outside interference for him to win. And I mentioned this Wednesday. I mentioned this on Wednesday in my predictions video, that Finn Balor and the Balor Club, which is obviously Finn Balor, Carl Anderson and Doc Gallows, they could debut at WrestleMania. The rumours are that there's a massive chance they could debut at WrestleMania, if not the Raw after, because if you think of it this way, if Finn Balor loses the NXT Championship to Samoa Joe tonight, there's nothing left for Finn Balor to do at NXT. And if Finn Balor loses, it's 100% pretty much guaranteed he's going to the main roster. Obviously he's going as part of the Balor Club, and one of the biggest things that could happen, and it's been talked about a lot recently, whether it's going to happen or not, it's at the moment it's just rumours, and you never know until WWE does something like that. But with all the surprises they usually pour at WrestleMania, it would not be a surprise that Finn Balor and the Balor Club could come out during the match, get involved in the Hell in a Cell match, and cost the Undertaker the match, obviously helping Shane McMahon win and take control of Monday Night Raw. Because I mean, I think they should debut on the Raw after WrestleMania. If they're going to debut, obviously, if Finn Balor loses at NXT TakeOver Dallas, he's going to join the main roster. I think it's best to do it on the Monday Night Raw after WrestleMania, because WrestleMania is like the end of WWE's season type thing, So, I think usually a lot of their big surprises do happen on the Monday Night Raw after, because it's obviously the beginning of the new season leading up to the next WrestleMania. But the only way I would be happy with Finn Balor making his debut at WrestleMania would be obviously to help Shane McMahon and obviously get control of Monday Night Raw, because that is the one thing that would be incredible, and probably, to me anyway, the biggest main roster debut I've ever seen. If the Balor Club come out during the Undertaker's match, not a match you'd expect anyone to ever interfere in, one of the Undertaker's matches at WrestleMania, but if they come out and help Shane get the win, that will literally just shock everyone in the arena. it would just go so silent in shock. It would be incredible. It would be the biggest main roster debut I've ever seen if that happens. So that's a real big scenario. It's being talked about. It's all over the rumors basically. And obviously I mentioned it on Wednesday. I think that's a great possibility for them to go with Finn Balor debuting. The next thing I wanted to talk about is Kurt Angle. He's obviously going to be over the weekend. He's going to be in Dallas, and he's going to be in Dallas while WrestleMania is on, and that's another surprise that's being talked about in WWE. What might happen with Kurt Angle? Could Kurt Angle have some part to play in the show? For me, anytime Kurt Angle is being talked about with WWE, I'm all for it. I'm a huge fan of Kurt Angle. I just think if there's something for him to do at WrestleMania, it would be incredible, because I do think, with the build up to this WrestleMania, any sort of debut or return or just big name who's got something to play on the show would just make the show better. Even if it's not in a wrestling, type of thing, even if it's just a promo or just talking at the event, it just makes the event that much better. So there's obviously some speculation with Kurt Angle being in Dallas that he could appear at WrestleMania and have some part on the show, which would be insane. It'd be amazing. So hopefully that's the case. I've got three more things I wanted to mention in this video, guys. One is about John Cena. The other one is about WWE and Braun Strowman's push. And the last thing I want to mention, which is the first thing I'll mention out of the three now, is obviously, a lot of people might have heard, because it came out a few days ago, that WWE are taking away the Divas division name and rebranding it the Women's division. To me, this is a long time coming. I'm so happy with this decision, because to me, Divas division, it's not, Divas are just girls who are just there for looks type of thing. That's what a diva is to me. Just a pretty girl who's just a bit like a model, just there to pansy around in a bikini, like whatever. It's whereas with Sasha Banks, Charlotte, Becky Lynch, the new version of women from NXT, to me, they are women. They're not divas. They're just true proper women. And obviously WWE has been, for the last few years, they've been, it's not always been called the Divas division, but the wrestlers have basically been divas. And obviously with NXT starting a few years ago, and just the development of NXT and the female wrestlers on that show, they've just progressed into proper women, not divas. So for me, my favourite wrestlers in the women's division now, it is basically Charlotte, Becky Lynch, Sasha Banks, Paige. I know Paige is kind of headed in the diva direction, but a lot of those are women. They're not divas. They're just proper women, and that's how the women's division is going. It's being more based about the wrestling now, which is just so much better, really, because the last few years I've been I would go through watching Monday Night Raw and either not take interest in the match or just not even watch it at all. Whereas now, whenever, like for WrestleMania example, the triple threat for the women's title, as it's going to be called soon, is to me going to be one of the best parts on the show. It's one of the matches I'm looking forward to the most. Whereas you look back a couple of WrestleManias and I couldn't wait for the Divas match to be finished, basically, and it was the match I was least looking forward to. Whereas now there's a lot of the other matches with the male wrestlers that I'd put below that and that I'm not excited for at all. Whereas the triple threat I can't wait for. It's going to be one of the best matches of the night in my opinion. So when you put it like that, I just think rebranding it the women's division is by far the right move, and it just gives the women much more credit, because it's calling Sasha Banks and Becky Lynch and Charlotte divas, they're not divas, they're proper women. So it's, in my opinion, a step in the right direction. The next thing I want to talk about is John Cena, who gave an interview recently saying that he wouldn't rule out another heel turn well, a heel run in his WWE career, which I've always said, you know, I do think at some point John Cena might turn heel. I think, to me, next year, because I'm kind of basing The Undertaker having this match at WrestleMania with Shane McMahon and then maybe retiring at next year's WrestleMania. I think he should retire at next year's WrestleMania if it's a match against John Cena. I think for me, Undertaker's last match should be against John Cena because he's been the main man for so long. They haven't had a match in forever, and you know they've never had a match at WrestleMania. So if you put those things together, you know, and that would be the perfect time for John Cena to be a heel, because if he stays face for that match against The Undertaker, he's going to be hated by everyone, and no one, especially if Shane wins this match this Sunday at WrestleMania, they will not want The Undertaker to lose 3 matches at WrestleMania at all, because he has to go out winning his last match, and he has to go out with no more than 2 losses. I mean, even more than 1 is a push, but obviously a lot of fans want Shane McMahon to win because they want him to control Monday Night Raw and make WWE a lot better. If it wasn't for that reason, all the fans would want The Undertaker to win, guaranteed. But because of the stipulation and because they want Shane McMahon back in control, that's why a lot of fans are, you know, in the direction of, you know, wanting Shane to win. If it wasn't for that, no one would want The Undertaker to lose, and they would definitely not want The Undertaker to lose to John Cena. So in The Undertaker's last match, I think having John Cena as a heel against The Undertaker at WrestleMania and not as a face versus face, because he'll just be, you know, and this is not part of it, but even if John Cena was going to beat The Undertaker, it would go down so much better with the fans if he was a heel than a face, if he did it. So, but not that I think he'd win the match, because I don't see Undertaker losing another match at WrestleMania if he loses to Shane. But even if he, you know, does win against Shane, I'm not sure he'll lose another one, because more than 1, I don't think The Undertaker deserves to lose more than 1. You know, because, you know, in my opinion, I think he could have and maybe should have gone undefeated at WrestleMania. Obviously, I'm not, you know, disappointed Brock got the win, because, you know, the way they've built Brock, he's the biggest attraction in WWE in my opinion at the minute, and you know they kind of needed that to get Brock to where he is, you know, because yeah, he could dominate everyone else, but if he could end the streak, that's just a huge advantage to Lesnar right there. So, but yeah, you know, especially if Undertaker loses to Shane, I don't see him losing another match, and I just, why would you have John Cena as a face versus The Undertaker at WrestleMania? It would just never work. As a heel, you know, the fans would be into it even more, because you know that, you know, it'd be fresh, it'd be new seeing John Cena as a heel, and I think the rivalry could, you know, the feud could go so much better if it wasn't 2 faces, if it was a heel versus face. So that's my opinion on that. And the last thing is, obviously, over the last few weeks, there's been a lot of rumours and talk about WWE pushing Braun Strowman after WrestleMania in 2016, which, no, like, no one wants that. I mean, he's been in, what, 2 singles matches in his whole WWE career, one against Big Show and one against Dean Ambrose, I think. I mean, and the talk was to even have him in the WWE Championship picture. I mean, so you're going to put a guy who's had 2 matches in the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, you know, picture. To me, that is just the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. So, but apparently WWE are nixing those plans, and they're basically going back on their idea to, you know, for Braun Strowman to have a big push, which, I mean, you know, I'm not going to sit here and go, you know, yeah, I really don't like the guy, so I don't want him to get pushed. That's nothing about it. It's just he doesn't deserve it, because he's not done anything. He's not proven he can wrestle to us. He's not proven, you know, anything really. He's had, every time he's been on the mic, it's been for like 5 seconds. You know, there's nothing there to suggest he should be a main event type guy on his own. So unless you prove that type of stuff, you know, we're never gonna like accept that. So the fact that they're nixing the plans at this point is the right decision. I'm not saying they shouldn't maybe, you know, reevaluate it down the road in the future. I mean, they could, you know, because at some point the Wyatt family will break up in the next few years, you know, obviously maybe even this year, and in that case then you could have him go his own way, do his own thing, and then build him up. While he's part of the Wyatt family, he should never be getting anywhere near a big push if Bray Wyatt is not getting. If anyone's getting that push, it should be Bray Wyatt, not Braun Strowman. So Braun Strowman would need to go and do his own thing, you know, show us what he can do, and then maybe, you know, they could give him a big push to the main event level. But so the fact that at this point they, you know, rethinking those plans, and it's, you know, most likely not going to happen, is the right decision, because he's just not ready for it, and it could go really wrong and impact, you know, the future of his career. So and you don't want that really. So yeah guys, that's my Off the Mic episode 16. Hope you all enjoyed. Obviously hope you all enjoy NXT TakeOver Dallas tonight. In terms of wrestling, should be even better than WrestleMania. Should be an incredible show, and obviously, you know, I hope you all enjoy WrestleMania. It's going to be, you know, a huge event, huge show, and just, you know, I mean, there's nothing we can do about the build up to it and the matches we've been given. That's what we've been given, so there's nothing we can change about that. But all we can hope for is that we just get a good show, and the Monday Night Raw after WrestleMania is going to be huge, guys. That's going to be amazing. That's going to be in my opinion, one of the biggest Raws ever. I think there's going to be some incredible things go down on Monday Night Raw after WrestleMania, so that's going to be incredible. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. Like the video, you know, share it, comment down below, and subscribe to the channel for more, guys. So yeah, hope you all enjoyed, and see you soon, guys. Bye.